Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight? A little bit of a later live, little bit of a late night live. Welcome on in, everybody. Hey Ivy, how you doing? How you feeling? Hopefully you're feeling good. This one, Pickle Me Elmo, is that this one's going to be a good one. I came across this case today and I was like, whoa, what's up with all the crate? There's a lot of women that are acting out lately, it seems like. So we're going to go over it tonight. Hello, Lori. Welcome on in, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you. If you guys don't mind just taking a second to hit the like button, it does help the channel. And the countdown for me and Vincent's vacation is a T-minus like 1 day. So it's gonna be nice to get away for a little bit. But I'm like really sad about leaving my dogs. I'm like, it's so sad to leave them, but they'll be in good care. They have a great babysitter and they like her, so it should be okay. Pickle Me Elmo, I don't know. There's something wrong with some others though. We just covered Ruby Frank like a couple days ago, and then Letitia, of course. We've Leilani Simon. If we want to mention names, Lori Vallow. Like it's a little out of hand. And there's more. I just those are the ones I can name off the top of my head. So it's just been one thing after another. Lexi Trevez, which we didn't cover Alexi's case on this channel, but maybe we should. That one, I've watched a lot about it, so that one's a crazy one too. So I'm going to throw the channel membership in there. If anyone wants to join the channel membership, we would love to have you. Also, if you're watching on replay, just hashtag replay. If this is your first time here, I'm Tanya or TitaniumBuilt. You can call me either or. So. And I think most of you guys are probably back. So I love that. Steve, I think we'll have a good time too. And let me know if you guys know of any cool places that we should check out. I don't know what we should do. Like we usually go to the beaches and things like that, but I want to do something like, true crime-ish kind of. I don't know. I was like, I don't know if like Charles Manson, if his like ranch is still out there. I don't really know exactly where that is, where we will be compared to that. But like something like that, I would like to go do. I have to get Vincent on board though, because he gets scared easily. He gets scared easily. Just kidding. I would be scared. So tonight we're going to talk about Jasmine Paez. But before we get to her case, I have a question. Have you guys ever heard of the case? This one is an old one. So it's Crystal Rogers. It was a mother from Kentucky. She has I believe 4 or 5 children. She went missing. She was last seen with her ex-fiance, Brooks. And this happened 8 years ago. So if you guys put a 1 in the chat if you've heard of it, but put a 2 in the chat if you've never heard of the case. Because it's a really interesting one. I'll pull up a picture of her because that might help. So this is her. Oh, just kidding. Got to put it up on there. Got to put it up on the stage there. There we go. Beautiful blonde. 2. Okay, we got to cover this. It's so crazy. You do remember her, Lori? Isn't this so crazy? Remember her dad? Okay. She goes missing. We all know Brooks did it. People that follow the case, we kind of all think that. I mean, I do, and I know a lot of people do, because it usually goes back to the ex. Well, come to find out, our speculation, I think, is correct. So this has been 8 years. So her mom and dad were at the forefront trying to get justice for their daughter. Her dad was he's in his 70s. He was killing himself, going out and just looking for her every day till sun up, sun down. I mean, he wouldn't stop looking for his baby girl. He just wasn't going to stop. So I was so enamored with that case. I was like, oh my gosh, because he ends up a couple years after she goes missing, he ends up getting shot while he's hunting. Someone shoots him sniper style and in front of his grandson or nephew. I think it was his grandson. And so they interview Brooks. Brooks has a brother. That's the boyfriend, husband or fiance that has a brother that's a cop that tells him to not talk. So the cop brother gets fired. It's a crazy one. We're going to cover it. It's really good. I think you guys will be like, whoa. Because then her dad gets shot. So then it's just her mom. And it's like, oh my God, like, can this woman go through any more? But now they have an arrest. This guy, look at him. He's nuts. So I'll like tell you about him. So they arrested this guy. And I was telling Vincent last night, I said, he has to be connected to Brooks somehow. Well, he is. So the guy that called Brooks the night of the missing, when she came up missing, which I'm going to say the night of the homicide, the guy that called Brooks is his father. So there's the connection. And the guy worked for Brooks. I was like, oh. So I think that it's just going to unravel. This just came out like 2 days ago. And you remember, Sarah, it's a good, I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, her poor mama needs justice. Her mom was just out talking about it a couple months ago. Still, I mean, like she's always going to want to know where her baby is. I mean, it's going to be a good one. But I want to make sure I do it her justice. So I want to get like a timeline. I want to do the full thing for you guys. So, but I wanted to tell you guys about that because nope, he's scary. He's very, to me, he's very scary. But these are two scary people as well. I don't know why the picture's so blurry, but they are in their turtle vests. This is Jasmine here. She is a Florida woman, and she has been arrested for allegedly attempting to have. She didn't allegedly, but she allegedly attempted to have her 3-year-old toddler murdered using a fake Hitman website. Fake website. She's 18 years old and she is from Miami-Dade, Florida. She used the parody website called rentahitman.com to request the murder of her toddler 3-year-old son. Reminds me of Letitia Stout when she got the fake polygraph.com. So this girl goes on a website called rentahitman.com and she literally tries to rent a hitman. So when she goes through the site, the guy that owns the website is like, whoa, this sounds way too, like, she is giving me too much detail. She's wanting to give me money. I mean, she's wanting to go forward. Like, she's ready to go. She tried to hire a hitman online for her 3-year-old son. Nancy on this episode, she's on one. I love her when she's on one, but she almost makes you like sad at the same time because she's a mother. But these two are boyfriend and girlfriend. So she was arrested after the man who operates, the fake website contacted police and told them about it. She was being held in Miami-Dade jail, but her bond was $15,000 to bond out. She, while using the website, she sent pictures of her child, where the child would be located. And she also was going to send $3,000 for this all to happen. $3,000. Where's she getting $3,000? Is my question. That's a lot of money for any mom, that's a lot of money. Shoot, for any person, that's a lot of money, but had to be in Florida. Ivy said, yeah. So she gets with this guy, right? This guy, this is how it all starts. She gets with this guy. Look at him. I want his number. And he says he doesn't want kids. This has happened before. What was that? It was like a case in the 90s. Was it the Susan lady? Was that her that did that? I know there was one lady that did do this because her boyfriend didn't want kids. Like, what? Huh? What? Well, then you don't date them. Sorry. So basically the authorities matched Jasmine's email address to, the one that was sending out these messages. And that's how she kind of got caught. The toddler, he is safe and he is with, I believe the grandmother. And then she was given $15,000 bond. And we'll hear here in a minute that she did bail out. That was at $15,000. So 10%. You were trying to murder a 3-year-old child. How can you even? Diane Downs. Susan Smith was the one. Yep, Kmart, that was the one. Diane Downs is another one, though. Man. And so this has been happening for, this happens not like, I would say a lot, but I mean, it's getting more. We're seeing it more. We're seeing it a lot more, I feel like. Let me know if you guys think we are, but I feel like we are. I have a couple little news articles I wanted to just like kind of go through with you guys. And then we are going to listen to Nancy because she's just really on one today. And I can't wait to listen to it again because I actually like enjoyed listening to it. Like Nancy is, I was listening to it actually in the shower, and she says something about her twins, and she's like, just sometimes they make me cry. And I was like, oh no, not Nancy. I was like, don't make me like be sad with you in the shower. Yes, if you don't want kids, just don't want, don't want me either. Yeah. You have 3 kids, Ivy? My mom and a grandbaby. Oh, I love that. I didn't know you had 3 kids. Oh, I love that. And I love him. Your mom and your grandbaby. If my mom was still around, she would be probably right back there. Yeah. That's so funny. I love that. And that's the way it should be, So her father here, so this happens like in July, and then by July 20th, her father is coming forward saying like, she's not this bad person that you think she is. And, trying to do, I guess, some crowd control. I don't know, but it doesn't work out very well. But I will read through this, and this is a picture of her here. And I'm not sure why her face is swollen on one side, if it's like an injury she had, or if it's like an illness or something related with that. I'm not sure. But it just says, a Miami father is defending his daughter amid allegations she went into a parody website to request a hitman to kill her toddler son. Jasmine Paez, 18, was arrested Tuesday after police said she visited rentahitman.com and requested a killer to murder her 3-year-old before the end of the week. So she wanted this done by the end of the week. She had a timeline. Wonder what was the end of the week. Wonder what was happening then. We'll have to find that out. You have 3 grown kids too, Cat's Life? Maybe that's what it is, Jenny. Like, it's just being like reported more. Oh, I love that. Waiting on another grandbaby in December. Oh, that's going to be a good like Christmas present. And it's going to be all cold outside, so you're going to cuddle the baby. Oh, I haven't had a baby around in a while. My brother has 5 kids, and I have a great niece. So I got a lot. I've got a lot of little ones around somewhere. They're just not in this area. But it says here, according to a arrest report, Paez offered $3,000 and even sent photos and an address of where her child would be. Police said the child was living with her grandmother at the time, after Paez became a parent at around 15 years old, because the kid is 3. That's crazy. That's very young. So young. The parody website was initially a cybersecurity company, but over the years, alleged criminals have contacted it seeking hitman services. In an online forum, Paez allegedly wrote she wanted to have her son killed to get something done once and for all. Her extra request was to be taken away far, far, far away and possibly be killed, but ASAP. Once Paez requested came in, the website owner contacted Miami-Dade police, who arrested her on charges of soliciting of murder and unlawful use of communication device. Like, that shouldn't even be solicited. I don't know how they should have got her for attempted. You know what I mean? Like attempted or something. All girls for you. Oh, your son was born Christmas Day. And I just said Christmas, baby. Look at that. I bet you. Maybe you'll have like a little Christmas Eve baby. And that new baby will be like, I one-upped you. Came a day early. Oh, that's so cute. I'm going to play this video up here so we can see what she looks like when she's walking and talking. I don't think she talks in the video, though.
Woman accused of hiring a hitman to kill her 3-year-old son. Well, She's out on bond tonight, and her father is speaking only on 6 about the serious accusations she's facing.
Let's get to NBC6 reporter Christine Colon joining us with what that and Miami-Dade police have learned, Christian, in the wake of this very unique and troubling investigation.
Yeah, the father told us his daughter needs the medical attention. As for Miami-Dade police, they admit there was a delay in this case just because of how unique this story was, but they point out how quick a detective was put on the case, and eventually there was an arrest. 18-year-old Jasmine Paez walked out of jail without saying a word, but her dad speaking out, saying there's more to the story.
Ella es una niña que nació con problemas.
My daughter is a little girl who was born with health problems. She has liquid retained in her neck. She had 12 surgeries. She lost the ability to move her face. She's been bullied in school. They called her the monster.
En la escuela le decían que era un monstruo.
Police say Paez went on a parody website to seek a hitman to allegedly kill her 3-year-old son. That website owner called police to report it. Robert Inez tells us he called Miami-Dade non-emergency number 3 times, but they referred him to Crime Stoppers. However, on that third call, that's when a detective was put on the case.
Because of the fact that it involved an online allegations. So that's what caused a little bit of a delay when he made him call a couple of times. But then once they were able to get a grasp on exactly what he was referring to and how this is playing out, that's when that call taker passed that information to the on-duty supervisor at our communications bureau.
Tonight, police admit there was a delay, but say they arrested the suspect in hours.
Communications Bureau has been in talks with us all day because of the fact that this is so bizarre, where we can utilize this now and create a best practice because of the fact that simply because you run into something that's a little bizarre and it's the first time you run into it doesn't mean you'll never run into it again.
And police say that 3-year-old was living with his grandma at the time because of how young Jasmine was when she had that child. Tonight we are learning he is safe conditions. DCF is now investigating this whole thing. As for Paez, she has a court hearing coming up next month. We're live at the Miami-Dade Police headquarters. Christian Colon, NBC6 News.
Richie coming in with that comment made me laugh. Picture Danilo pooping in the woods. I know, right? What's he been doing these last 11 days? I was watching it earlier with Vincent. He's been watching it, and then I was listening to the scanner earlier. But they still haven't caught him. They're not going to. He's out. He's gone. That guy's gone. He done peaced out. He checked out. He's like, I don't know how he's getting away with like so fast and stealth-like, but maybe it's because he's so small. But I don't know how they haven't caught him yet. They just keep moving the search perimeter around. And then you hear people say, they're going to catch him. They're going to get him now. And then you watch for another 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. And then they don't. So I figured I would take a break from watching that and watch this with you guys. So this was what I was telling you guys earlier, and then we'll watch the Nancy Grace one about her saying that her kid was the problem. It says, man accused of pushing Miami mom into trying to kill her own son. And then this came out just on the 29th, August 29th. It says, a second arrest has been made in a disturbing South Florida murder for hire plot involving a young child. That's where he comes in. Last month, Jasmine Paez of Miami was arrested after allegedly visiting a parody Hitman website, which you know that part. Now 18-year-old Gamaliel Souza is being charged with conspiracy to commit murder after police say text messages were discovered showing Souza pushed her to try to take her child's life. Wow. Like, how do you convince somebody of that? How does that happen? Like, you guys are just sitting around on the couch, just hanging out, shooting the shit. And then he looks over and he's like, I think you should kill your kid. And she's like, okay, I think that's a good idea. Let's get on 1-800-HITMAN.com. Like, I don't get it. I know that it's because I would never do it, but it's like, I really just can't even comprehend it. Like, and for him, for that guy, get out of here, girl. Get out of here, Jasmine. I'll be waiting to see you in court. I'll be waiting for that. According to Souza's arrest report, the text messages reveal he told Paez, "The kid is the problem. I hope you see that all I ever wanted was to free you. I told you about the kid. You won't do anything. You do it, and I'll think about coming back." Other messages reveal Paez may have taken her son to the woods to be eaten by bears or drown in the water. The arrest report shows Souza responded by asking for a picture of proof. He's a sick individual. He was also given $15,000 bond. Like, what the what is a $15,000 bond going to do for anybody? A judge ordered him to have no contact with the 3-year-old child or anyone under the age of 18 without supervision. Shouldn't be around anybody at all. Should be in jail. On Tuesday, Robert Enns, the webmaster of the parody website that Paez used, reacted to the second arrest. He says, "It sucks, man. It's really a bad story to begin with. The fact that the website was able to prevent a violent crime and save a life that's what makes it worthwhile to me. At least the child is going to be okay." Yeah. Physically, mentally, I thought I had my camera on. Mentally, gone. Yeah, Michelle. Man. Sarah, he really does. He keeps just getting away. I was listening to the scanner. I could do the scanner, but I can't stand just like not watching anything happening, just staring at the screen. You guys would get so bored with me probably. Actually, I don't know. I'm pretty good at commentating stuff. I make some stuff up to talk to you guys about. And I would want to do like a timeline and stuff too. I would want to, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to just like come on and do it now because I feel like I would want to give you guys the timeline, the backstory, the reason why he was in jail to begin with. I mean, and not just, he stabbed his girlfriend, like what he had, like the whole deal. I like to be thorough. So like, yeah, I just don't know. I don't get it. Makes no sense. Yep. You're right, Michelle. It makes no sense. Actually, I was going to turn my nightbot off so it's not so fast all the time. But I was going to play this video. I'll play this video and then we will watch Miss Nancy. So this is going to be about the second arrest here. This guy Souza. We're going to call him by his last name because I can't pronounce his first name.
Has been made in a disturbing South Florida murder for hire plot involving a young child. Last month, we told you about a Miami-Dade mother who was accused of using a parody Hitman website in her attempt to kill her own son.
Now a close associate of hers is accused of influencing her. NBC6 anchor Chris Hush is at TGK jail where that second suspect remains behind bars.
When police arrested Jasmine Paez last month, they seized her cell phone. Tonight, investigators say damning text messages show how this second suspect pushed her to try to kill her own child.
So no unsupervised contact with anyone under age 18. All right.
Yes, Judge. 18-year-old Gamaliel Sosa charged with conspiracy to commit murder on his girlfriend's 3-year-old son. Jasmine Paez, now his co-defendant in this disturbing case that started with Paez's arrest last month. Investigators say she visited the parody website rentahitman.com to request a killer to murder her child. Now, police documents show Sosa allegedly pushed her to get the job done after they discovered damning text messages between the two. Sosa telling Paez, "The kid is the problem. I hope you see that all I ever wanted was to free you. I told you about the kid. You won't do anything. You do it, and I'll think about coming back." Other messages revealing Paez may have taken her son to the woods to be eaten by bears or drowned in the water, to which Sosa responded by asking for a picture of proof.
It sucks, man. It's a really bad story to begin with.
Robert Ennis, the webmaster of the parody Hitman website, alerted police of Paez's request last month. His website essentially saving the 3-year-old's life.
It is what it's all about. I mean, the fact that the website was able to prevent a violent crime and save a life that's what makes it worthwhile to me. At least the child's going to be okay.
That child is said to be staying with family members right now. Sosa was ordered to have no contact with that child or anyone under the age of 18. At last check, he was still in the process of bonding out of jail on a $15,000 bond. In Miami-Dade, I'm Chris Hush, NBC 6 News.
$15,000. Wow. They just let everybody out of jail now, huh? Well, at least it didn't scale the wall like the other guy, but still, that's insane. These guys, they went to a parody website. Like how, like where's the common sense at? Where did it go? Like where does it go? The grandmother was taking care of the baby, the 3-year-old. The toddler lived with her. So why couldn't the mom just be like, okay, I'm out. Outie. I just, I don't know. But Nancy's going to she's going to tell us a little bit. She was on one. And I didn't watch the video version. I listened to the podcast, so I didn't get to see her facial expression. So that'll be new to me. And it's probably going to make me laugh a little bit because you know how she is. And the good thing about this case is nobody was actually physically harmed. Mentally, emotionally, probably. Even though they're 3. I mean, I'm sure that that's going to come up later on in life. That your mom did this. But at least he's around and, he's here. But, because a lot of people actually go through with it. Or they're, she would have went through with it though. She could have. She was trying to give $3,000. Like where'd you get the money? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play Nancy. If you guys don't mind just hitting the like button. If you guys are enjoying the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We are usually here daily at 8:15 p.m., but I was a little late tonight. All right. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to blast that into your ears. Sorry, guys. Oh, and I want to warn you guys before I forget, because I'll forget during this episode. I forget the girl's name, but it's towards the end of the episode, and I'll try to remember. But she brings up one of these older cases, and this girl just is crying because she thinks her husband is unalived, because she hired a hitman to do it, and she cries for 30 seconds, and Nancy Grace lets it go, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, to get this smack this girl in the head because her cry is annoying, and we all know she's doing it because she thinks that her boyfriend's dead when he's not actually, in fact, dead. I can't think of the girl's name though. She'll bring it up. I don't want to say her last name and get it wrong, but she had dark hair. Or maybe I can look it up. She'll talk about it though.
Did a mother actually try to hire a hitman to murder her 3-year-old tot son? Let that sink in. A mother hiring a hitman to murder her tot boy? You know what? Every once in a while, every day, I think, wow, I've heard it all. I've never seen anything like this before. How could people do such a thing? And then along comes someone like Jasmine Paez, who, according to prosecutors, hires a hitman to murder her 3-year-old baby. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thanks for being with us here at Fox Nation and SiriusXM 111. First of all, take a listen to our friends at NBC.
Police say Paez went on a parody website to seek a hitman to allegedly kill her 3-year-old son. That website owner called police to report it. Robert Inez tells us he called Miami-Dade non-emergency number 3 times, but they referred him to Crime Stoppers. However, on that third call, that's when a detective was put on the case.
Because of the fact that it involved an online allegations. So that's what caused a little bit of a delay when he made him call a couple of times.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm still trying to get my head wrapped around this. I'm going to go to an all-star panel to make sense of what we know right now, including the creator of rentahitman.com. But first, to Nicole Parton, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. Nicole, how many children do you have? I just want to make sure one hasn't been added recently.
I have 10 in my home at the moment.
Okay. I was going to go with 7, and I would have been very wrong. Nicole, a mother hires a hitman to murder her 3-year-old tot boy. And you know what? Think about how hard you worked to get your family, all the red tape you went through, the years in the making of adopting these children. And now you have this beautiful family. Can you even imagine a mother hiring a hitman to murder her tot boy?
I can't even wrap my head around it. I can't imagine her having the thought of it, much less acting it out, following through with it. But she did.
You know, that's interesting what you just said. Hold on. I'm going to get to the facts. Just give me a sec. Hold on, Bob Ennis, the creator of rentahitman.com. I've got to go to a shrink. With me is renowned psychologist joining us out of Manhattan, TV, radio trauma expert, consultant. You can find her at KarenStark.com. That's Karen with a C. Karen, Nicole Parton just said something really interesting. She said, what mom would have the thought of murdering their child, much less following through, not acting in a moment of anger, which you're still going to go to hell, but cold-blooded, calculated, making the decision to hire a hitman to murder your baby, your toddler. You know, Karen Stark, sometimes I'll send you the pictures. My phone and my iPad and my laptop, they all generate photos of the twins, my babies. They're 15 now, and these pictures pop up on my phone or my iPad of them this day in 2008, this day in 2014. I sometimes break down and cry because I want those years back. I want to do it all over again. I want them to be toddlers all over again because I can easily say with no hesitation, hand on the Bible, that the last 15 years have been the best years of my life because of them. The thought of killing your child has never once even flitted across my mind, much less as Nicole Parton, who's an investigative reporter, not a shrink like you, actually calculatedly planning the murder of your child. That's a big leap, right?
Well, it's not what anybody expects, Nancy. I think that's the most difficult.
Just so you know, Karen Stark, I don't have you on today to say, well, nobody expected that. I can agree with that.
Well, because when we think of a mother, all across the world, when we think of mothers,
Doesn't she look tiny? Like, she looks small here. Like, she is small. She's 18, but she looks like it here. She looks super like, they don't like people like this in jail. There is a code, even in jails. But she looks really tiny.
Think of mothers and children. We think of a Madonna and child. It's a very strong image. And that is not the case when you have maternal filicide, when you have a mother who kills children. And those people are not like regular mothers. They are anti-personality. Unless there is some kind of psychosis, they are doing it because they want to get revenge on somebody, or they really can't deal with handling a child. They turn the child into a monster and believe the child is acting out or crying to get even with them. They do not see their child as a real living human being that they are connected to. It's much more like a toy, something that they can discard. They don't have regular feelings.
It seems to me, and of course I'm no shrink, that all the hatred or the anger, the frustration, everything going on in their lives, they, transfer all of that onto an innocent baby. And somehow the baby is the cause of all of their problems.
That's correct. They project all of the things that are happening to them, and in some cases, they are being abused themselves. And anything that goes wrong, they think it's the child. And they also have no ability to cope with children. If you think about children are totally dependent. Sometimes they cry. You can't stop them. They have a temper tantrum. These are women that turn their children into people that are working against them, as though the children are developmentally mature enough to know that they hate their mothers and they're getting even with them. And we're talking about babies.
According to the facts as we know them right now, a mother, a Florida mom, uses a Hitman website to murder her 3-year-old baby boy, allegedly paying $3,000 for the murder. That's what we know right now. Guys, take a listen to our friends at NBC.
So this is it right here, rentahitman.com. It's actually a parody website. So police say it's not official, but police claim that woman logged onto this website to try to find a way to kill her son. The mother, accused of looking for a way to get rid of her child, is now out of jail on a $15,000 bond. Quiet as she left the correction center, out of jail, but not out of trouble.
Rent a hitman. Okay, rent a hitman. I'm looking at it right now. Your point and click solution. It says rent a hitman is one of the most experienced professional crisis management. Whoa, crisis management. You know, Bob Ennis, I'm going to get to you in just one moment because you created this thing. Kelly Hyman joining us, trial lawyer out of Miami. This is her jurisdiction, TV analyst, podcast host of Once Upon a Crime in Hollywood, which is awesome. Kelly Hyman, thank you for being with us. Wait a minute. Now, you know, I can just see defendants, wrongdoers all over the world that are hearing this right now. They're going to start referring to their murder plans as crisis management. What about this? Rent a hitman, your point and click solution. And I'm looking at it right now. And it says we are 100% HIPAA compliant, Hitman Information Privacy and Protection Act of 1964. That should be a tip off right there. But for people that are unlearned in the law, that may mean nothing to them. Field Op of the Year, 100% satisfied customer, framed awards. I mean, some people could read that and know this is a farce. Others, not so much. And the fact that she paid $3,000 to hire a hitman to murder her baby, I think says it all, Kelly Hyman. That's all I need is just follow that money to prove this case.
Yes, so she's been charged with first-degree solicitation of murder and third-degree use of communication device. And so the solicitation definition is when the defendant is asking or trying to convince another individual to commit a crime. So the state needs to prove that the defendant asked someone to commit a crime, go on that website, ask someone to do it. And while they were talking, she directed, encouraged, invited, asked, or hired another person to commit a crime or attempt to commit a crime. And that would be, if the state proves that, then she would be guilty of first-degree solicitation of murder.
With over 17,000 U.S.-based field operatives, we can find a, quote, solution that's right for you. Since 1920, Rent a Hitman has assisted in a diverse range of satisfied clients. Wow. Okay. Pat Diaz joining me, former Miami-Dade police officer, homicide detective, private investigator, now in South Florida at southflpi.com. Pat, I don't care what the site really is. What I care about is the safety of a helpless 3-year-old tot boy and a mom who wants him murdered. And it's not just a conspiracy, because a conspiracy, a plan, has to have what we call overt act for it to be prosecutable. I can't just sit around with Jackie and say, let's kill Sydney. I have to commit an overt act, like go buy a gun or something to that in that bent. And in this case, transferring $3,000 is an overt act.
I agree with you 100%. In this case, you have to give Mr. Ennis credit for alerting the police. And then once the detective got on the case, he was smart enough to engage her in text messages. So that's the act that we needed to prove that her intent was for this to happen. And once they had her there, then the exchange solidified the case completely against her. It was a good job on everybody's part to take her off the street.
I love nothing more than text messages, Pat Diaz. You're so right. Because in the past, it would be a conversation, which is a he say, she say. She told me she wanted a hitman. No, I didn't. So who's the jury going to believe? But when you put it in a text message, it's just so much better. Hey, Pat Diaz, former Miami-Dade homicide detective, never a lack of business there. There's something different about murder for hire defendants. Those defendants that lie in wait and pay money for murder. There's just something, again, I'm not a shrink. I'm just a JD, not an MD. But I have noticed in my prosecutions and coverage, there's just something different about the mindset of someone that commits a murder for hire. What is it, Pat Diaz?
It's that depraved mind, because you have to take it serious. You can't just laugh off this as a case that, somebody just trying to do something, on a website. When you have somebody actually with the intent to find a hitman, they want to carry this act out, and you need to act on it real quickly, which Miami-Dade did. But like I said, it's all good from Mr. Ennis calling the police to the police acting quickly, because who knows? Her intent was to have that child killed, and she was going to carry that out one way or the other, and it was stopped in time. And you give a lot of credit to everybody involved in the case.
Oh, yeah. This baby was going to die one way or the other, as Pat Diaz just pointed out. Take a listen to our friends at CBS 4.
Paez sent an email to the folks at rentahitman.com, but the only man you'd see behind the screen is Bob Innes, who isn't a killer, but instead an IT specialist.
It amazes me at the number of requests the website gets on a monthly basis. It's shocking. It's scary.
He has dedicated much of his life to helping authorities and tells me many of these emails are pranks, but some requests, like Paez's, ring a very different tune. Investigators say her email read, the murder had to be done by Thursday, and she, quote, wanted to get something done once and for all, adding that the child needed to be taken, quote, far, far, far away and possibly be killed, but ASAP, with a photo of the toddler attached. The good news here is that that child is safe tonight, but Paez has been charged with 2 felonies, one a first-degree murder and the other of unlawful use of a device.
That would be conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Now, believe it or not, this Miami-Dade mom actually submits pictures of her little boy and the specific location where he would be to make it easier for the hitman to commit murder. Well, she's going straight to hell. But in the meantime, I hope with a little stop at the penitentiary. And now joining me, the creator of rentahitman.com, Bob Innes. Bob, first, I've got so many questions for you, but first I want to address this particular case with mom, Jasmine Paez. What happened?
So Jasmine visited the website and she filled out what's known as a service request form in her own words as to the who, what, when, where, why. And so it was a Tuesday morning, about 9:30 in the morning Pacific time when I received the email. And I read her information. She stated that she wanted to have something done once and for all. Again, to be taken far, far, far away and possibly killed, but ASAP. She included a timeline that she wanted to have this done by. She also included a photo of the child. And this was not like any of the other requests that I had received. So I immediately got on it and responded to her within a couple of minutes, asking her if she still required our services and wanted to have a field operative contact her for a free consultation. She said yes. She wanted to have a field operative contact her, so I did a little bit more research. I was able to verify the names and addresses, and considering the close proximity within 7 miles of where Paez allegedly lived and where the child was, I realized that, this was a credible threat, and that if I didn't act, somebody else would have or could have, and the results could certainly have been different. So I had to do something.
Or she would have killed the child herself. Guys, you're hearing Bob Ennis, the creator of rentahitman.com. And according to not just Bob Ennis, but authorities, police, LA law enforcement, investigators pretend that they're a hitman, and they contact Paez, the mom, to find out more about her murderous plan. And it was then that she agrees to pay $3,000 to have her tot boy murdered. $3,000 to have her tot boy murdered. Straight back out to Pat Diaz, former Miami-Dade cop, homicide detective, now private investigator. Pat, they immediately and frantically began to try and match the IP address that was used at rentahitman.com to find out where the computer is and hopefully where she is. How does that work, Pat?
Well, the technology nowadays is outstanding, where we can actually, with the IP address and the phone number, the police can actually ping the phone and give you the exact address where that phone is located. So between locating the IP address and pinging that phone, the police were able to hone in on what address she was at the time, even though they knew she wasn't with the child, that the child was at a different location. Their concern was to make sure they get her exact location. And by pinging her phone, they were able to get the exact address and be able to be on her right away.
Okay, an IP address. Of course, now I'm just a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that stands for internet provider. Anybody can get your own IP address. You go to settings, you select Wi-Fi, you tap on the network to which you're connected, and you find your IP address under IPv4 address. So if you can do it yourself, can't everybody figure out that the cops can find your IP address? They can figure out what computer it is, where the computer is, very often, who owns the computer, who bought the computer. It's like a fingerprint. It's like a computer fingerprint. To Kelly Hyman, a veteran trial lawyer out of Miami, tracking IP addresses, not hard at all. How does it work?
Yes, so that is a really good point. So be careful what you type, because you can definitely track everything that you do. And Nancy, you talk about how you can go on your website and track of where you are and where your location is. But you have to be really, really careful of what you type in or what you put in, because you can be definitely tracked.
And then the pinging, as Pat Diaz points out, even, here's a good example. Do you remember the mom, Sherry Papini, who goes missing? Of course, we now later learn she staged the whole thing. Why, I don't know. Her husband used Find My iPhone, like we all do when we can't find our phone or iPad, and found the location. It's really easy. Pinging is not that much more sophisticated than that very process. So the phone that she uses to speak to the hitman, who's actually an investigator, is immediately pinged. The IP address is obtained, and she's about halfway to a conviction right there. Guys, we're talking about a Florida mom who calls a hitman to arrange the murder of her own 3-year-old tot boy. Take a listen to Our Cut 11 from NBC6.
She went on a website to hire a hitman.
To kill her 3-year-old son.
What?
To kill her own child?
To kill her own child? I didn't get that far.
Solicitation for murder and unlawful use of an electronic device. These are the charges Paez faces while standing before a judge.
Back to you, Bob Ennis, creator of rentahitman.com. I know that you started the website as a joke. Anybody that has any understanding of criminology or law can see that immediately. But a lot of people don't get it. They want someone murdered and they go to rentahitman.com. What types of requests have you seen since you started the website?
Oh, I've seen a lot. I can't say I've seen it all because this obviously came out of nowhere. But generally you have people that are upset. Maybe they're being bullied. Maybe they're trying to get even with somebody in their family or neighborhood or whatever the case is. Some of these requests, unfortunately, are from kids seeking retaliation against somebody else for abuse, whether physical or what other kind of abuses there may be going on. Each one of these I have to kind of feel out and find the best and most reasonable solution. But yeah, I mean, the website does see its fair share of craziness from people around the world, rather, who are seeking services which I clearly don't offer or even condone.
What prompted you to start the website? And I'm certainly glad that you did, but what prompted you to do it?
Yeah, so the website was created for a postgraduate IT startup specializing in penetration testing and risk analysis, with HIT pertaining to being the key word, pertaining to visitor traffic and analytics. It was after business plans kind of fizzled out. I put the domain on auction blocks and tried to sell it, tried to move it. Unfortunately, at the time, nobody was really interested in it. It took several years for it to take shape into what it is today. So there's a lot of desperate people out there that have sought how to hire a hitman online, and they perform their Google and Yahoo searches. They find the website. They see that it is well, they may not see the parody in it, but they see that it's a problem resolution type company, and they feel compelled to leave their information.
What goes through your mind when you see a request that is legitimate, like the one cops say Jasmine Paez sent you to murder her child?
Well, her request was certainly different than a lot of them that I see. She included details that I just could not overlook. I couldn't put to the side. The fact that this person wanted to have a child murdered and provided enough detail and a photograph of the child, I just knew that this was something spectacular that I had to get on right away.
Is it true that out of all of the complaints or requests for murder for hire you get, that 124 New Yorkers have used your site?
That is true.
You must be really angry in New York. Guys, take a listen to our cut one, our friends at Fox 2.
He started the very basic site in 2005 as a class project, then left it. A couple years later, he opened the inbox.
I go back into the inbox to check the emails, and I'm just shocked. There's 250 or 300 emails from people around the world seeking asset extraction.
He figured he could do some good, and it seems he has, getting 2 new murder for hire messages just on Tuesday.
The fact that a $9.20 website has prevented 141 murders, I never would have seen this coming.
And also our friends at NBC6, our cuts 2 and 3.
I saw the email. I just had a gut instinct that this was a serious threat.
That is Robert Inez, the site webmaster. Now, he says rentahitman.com is designed to prevent legitimate solicitations to commit murders and intended to help law enforcement.
There's a service request form that people can fill out in their own words as to who, when, where, why.
He says some of these inquiries are jokes too, things like wanting to kill cartoon characters. But in the case against this mother suspected of wanting her 3-year-old dead, Ines saw real concern.
Having the ability to research names and addresses and verify that the intended target lived at a particular address, that to me is a red flag. It's a $9.20 website, and for it to have the ability to save lives nearly every day, it's ridiculous.
To you, Bob Innes, the creator of rentahitman.com, before now and your collision with Jasmine Paez, have you ever had a parent or anyone want to murder a child?
Unfortunately, yes. And in fact, earlier this year, out of Storm Lake, Iowa, there was a case involving a teenager, a 17-year-old, that wanted to have a 7-year-old murdered. And that was promptly handed over to the authorities there, who found it credible, and they investigated it, and they were able to make an arrest and save that 7-year-old's life.
Well, I was thinking exactly of that case. Take a listen to our cut 24 from our Forensic Crime Online.
It's hard to imagine the grudge between a teenager and a 7-year-old, but a 17-year-old Kansas teen tried to hire a hitman to kill a 7-year-old child. The teen visited rentahitman.com and tried to hire a professional killer. Kansas police say she visited the website at least twice and shared information about the child, including their name and where they live. Police were contacted, and an officer posing as a hitman contacted the teenager. The teenager told the fake hitman where to find the child and when they would be home. Officers arrested the teen the same day on a charge of solicitation to commit murder. The child and their family were not harmed and were unaware of the danger.
The same charges lodged in the present case, where a mom wants a hitman to murder her 3-year-old baby boy. And across the country, take a listen to our cut 17 from KDSU.
Beau Cormier, Andrew Eskeen, and Dalvin Wilson are now each facing 1 count of criminal conspiracy to commit murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. Cormier allegedly hired 2 of his friends to silence a rape victim to keep her from testifying. The rape victim was not killed, and instead someone else at the home, Brittany Cormier, and her neighbor Hope Nettleton, died as a result of their injuries. Investigators say the new charges stem from 2 prior incidents when the suspects conducted surveillance on the home and attempted to commit the crime.
So that hitman was successful, except for one thing: he killed the wrong people. Hitman attempts happen every day, and very often they're successful. Take a listen to our cut 18 from Como.
Court documents paint a deliberate and disturbing murder for hire scheme. Bellevue police say Sharon Kelly hired a 17-year-old boy to murder her ex-husband, Baron Lee, and offered to pay the teenager $13,000. On the day of the shooting in July, police say the 17-year-old got his friend to drive him to the Overlook at Lakemont Apartments in Bellevue, where court documents say he was going to cap someone and empty the clip. Police say the 17-year-old gunman ambushed Lee, shooting him 9 times.
9 times. That was to kill an ex-husband. I've seen hits on mother-in-laws. Yeah, I'm lucky. My mother-in-law, my husband's mom, we've known each other since I was in college. Never had one crossword. Never. Well, I can't say that for everybody. Take a listen to our cut 19. Our friends at KY3.
Investigators say Bauman wanted her ex-mother-in-law killed because she believed the woman was trying to interfere in her relationship with her children. Now, Camden County prosecutor Caleb Cunningham says the Highway Patrol's Division of Drug and Crime Control was contacted by a witness. According to court documents, that witness was asked to hire people to kill Bauman's ex-mother-in-law. Records show that witness recorded Bauman agreeing to pay $1,500 for people to make her ex-mother-in-law's death, quote, look like an accident. Her former mother-in-law was never injured. Bauman is in jail without bond.
That hit was for $1,500. Bob Innes joining us, creator of rentahitman.com. $1,500, that sounds like a bargain compared to what this mom was willing to pay Jasmine Paez to have her 3-year-old tot murdered, she was in for $3,000. How much do people offer to pay for a hit?
That's a great question, and one that whenever I'm asked, I kind of let the solicitor know that is for them to discuss with the field operative.
Do they ever put an amount in?
Negotiations.
Do they ever put an amount in? Hey, I've got to have this done for $5,000 or less.
It does happen occasionally where people have said, a couple of $1,000, but again, I kind of defer all of that to the field operative.
Could you imagine being this guy? You're this guy, and he has this website, and people are like wheeling and dealing with him. Like, will you take $1,000 off? Oh my Lord! Anybody that can get something for free, free hitman.
That's very wise. The last thing you want to do is get tangled up with a would-be killer. Guys, that's not all. Does the name Jennifer Emmy ring a bell? Because it does for me. Take a lesson to cut 21, our friends at CBS 4 Denver.
Court documents say much of what Jennifer Emmy, who's also known as Jennifer Edwards, much of what she said was secretly recorded by the would-be hitman.
Successful lawyer, beautiful family, and currently in jail on a very serious allegation.
Her lawyer said Emmy may have overreacted.
Looked like the model family, and then all of a sudden, her husband trades her in for a younger girl. I don't think it would surprise anybody that Jennifer or anybody in that situation would probably be pretty irate.
Yeah, I would be irate. I might change the locks on the doors and burn all of David's clothes in the front yard, but hiring a hitman, that's a no. Because that would be one thing that would guarantee me never seeing the twins again. Okay, it's about time for Karen Stark, psychologist, to jump in. Help me out, Karen Stark.
I was thinking as you're talking that if Susan Smith were able to, at that time, find this website, she would have been very happy to get rid of her 2 kids through hire a hitman, because that was a woman who felt that her kids were in the way. And it just goes against what we conceive as human nature, that she wanted her kids dead and made sure they were dead because they were interfering with her social life.
My personal favorite of all the people that hire hitmen to kill someone would have to be Dahlia DiPolito. Now, I remember her defense lawyers were mad at me because I said she was a former escort. Isn't that okay? Yeah.
This one, Dahlia DiPolito. I can see it, but I can't say it. She's the one. She's going to start crying here in a minute, so you might want to turn the volume down. She cries for a good 30 seconds, but she's the one that tried to get her boyfriend killed, and they set up a huge sting. I don't know if you haven't heard of the story, we might have to cover it on the channel because it's a good one too. Like, she didn't succeed. Wonder if she's still in prison.
They're worried about her reputation being maligned while she's accused of planning a murder for hire. Hello, priorities. Take a listen to our cut A.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry. Listen,
No.
try to calm down. Listen, right now, we need to get you to the station. We need to get you to our police station. I can't let you stay, man. We have to do our job. If you want us to find this killer, okay, we need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to go with these detectives, okay? Does he have enemies? Is there anyone that would want to hurt him? Okay, who would want to hurt him? Witnesses said they saw a black male running from me. I can't let you see him, ma'am. Ma'am, I cannot do this right now. Ma'am, I can't do it. Detective Yopi, I need you to take her to the station. I can't. Ma'am, go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these gentlemen and tell us everything you know about who he knows, who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of your dogs with animal control for right now. Everything's under control.
Okay, see, I could have cut that early and not heard the whole thing, but I didn't. Just let me have one moment during Crime Stories where I can smile and even, dare I say it, laugh. Her husband was not killed. Dahlia DiPolito had tried before to poison her husband with a Starbucks, one of those, sugary ones. That didn't work out. So she hires a hitman, and of course the hitman is an undercover agent. And they do a sting. They let her talk and talk and talk. You hear the cop informing her husband's dead, and she breaks down in tears. She actually bends over in half in all of her fake pain. Watch out, Meryl Streep. You think you're a great actress? You need to see Dahlia DiPolito in this performance of a lifetime. But I want you to hear more. Take a listen to our cut for ABC 2020.
For the undercover detective, he really wants to nail Dahlia. Make sure he's got it on tape and on camera that she is really going to pay him to kill her husband. And he says, "Are you sure, Dahlia?"
Between now and when it's done, you're not going to have an option to change your mind, even if you change your mind.
Okay, did you hear that? She's caught on video when asked, "Are you sure you want your husband killed?" She goes, 5,000% sure I want him dead. Okay, not just 100%, but 5,000%. Well, she's convicted. Bob Ennis, a creator of rentahitman.com. Have you ever wondered how many lives you've probably saved?
Yes, I have. And honestly, I kind of lose count right around 120. And that's a worldwide figure, by the way. A great number of these cases were from Indonesia and some other parts of the world.
Wow. I guess they're impressed by your 17,000 operatives around the world. I mean, this is an incredible website. I've looked at it many, many times. Kelly Hyman, a veteran trial lawyer, joining us out of the Florida jurisdiction where this goes down. What do you believe will happen?
Hopefully there will be potentially some kind of resolution for the family. Potentially there could be a potential plea deal as well. But no matter how you look at it, it is a very, very sad case where a mother wants her child killed.
Awful.
You can't get any worse than that. A mother is supposed to love their child, protect their child, oversee the child. And for a mother to potentially want to do this is heartbreaking.
I hope she doesn't catch any slack because she's a mom and somebody in the courtroom feels sorry for her. Oh, and I want to point out, just earlier this year, a Tennessee Air National Guardsman was arrested because he applied to be a hitman on the site. Just as recently as 2021, a Michigan woman used the website to hire a hitman for her ex-husband with a $5,000 payout. I mean, it goes on and on and on. To you, Karen Stark, please do not tune up and tell me I should feel sorry for this mom, because
If you think about it, it's kind of a genius move, right? So we need to build a website, something about like run a hitman. That's what that one's called, but we'll get something different. Ashley's good with stuff like that. I think she'd come up with a good name. We're going to get it. We're going to do a website. And then when these crazy people that don't have no damn common sense and they don't realize it's a parody website, they come giving us money. We don't go do the hit because we're not going to do that part of it. And then what are they going to do? Call the cops on us for taking their money because we didn't commit a murder? That's a good business practice. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? That guy was smart that he called the cops, but I just think it's really funny because, people could do that. Just, what are you going to do?
because I don't.
No, I'm not going to say that, Nancy. I haven't been saying that all along. I think it's really different if we know that somebody has a mental illness, they're psychotic, and they don't know any better. But it doesn't sound like this person didn't know any better. She went out of her way to try and hire a hitman. And look, we both know, because we've been doing this for a long time, even though there might be hitmen who get away with actually accomplishing this, so often if you go to another person and try and get them to do that, it's not going to work out. And they're going to tell somebody, someone's going to find out, you're going to be caught. But she very clearly had evil intent in doing this.
And not just intent, made the phone call and agreed to a price, sent a photo of her tot boy to make sure they killed the right child. Those are overt acts under conspiracy law. She's charged with solicitation to commit murder. Pat Diaz joining us, former Miami-Dade police homicide detective, now private investigator at southflpi.com. Pat, if Bob Ennis had not caught this and contacted police, we may be looking at the dead body of a 3-year-old baby boy.
I agree 100%. That's why I gave him credit from the beginning, because you know, based on her actions, that her intent was to kill her child. And if it didn't work on the website, then the next thing was to find somebody on the street to do it. So kudos to him, kudos to the website, because he took action. This definitely was an individual with the intent, and based on her action, this was between text messages and communication and good police work that she was taken off the street quickly. But I think her intent in the beginning was to have her child murdered, whether one way or the other.
You know, I remember Bob Ennis when I was reading every single one of the Harry Potter books to the children. And I don't know how much you know about that. I sadly know everything there is to know. But Voldemort, the antagonist, murdered people. And every time he murdered someone, his soul would split. That causes your soul to split. And I remember reading that to the children, you know, editing out parts I thought were really, really scary. And they said, why does your soul split in half when you kill somebody? And I said, because it's the worst thing in the world, in the universe, to take away God's most precious gift, and that is your life. And we're, you know, kicking this around, kind of laughing about this, you know, that because it was a failed attempt. We're not dealing with a 3-year-old boy's dead body, thanks to mommy. But when you think about what these people are coldly planning to murder someone and pay money to have it done, it's really chilling.
Yeah, it really is scary, and you know, these people do live and walk amongst us. I mean, it's really terrible.
It really is. And thank the Lord in heaven, you managed to stop this attempt on a 3-year-old boy's life. Nicole Parton joining us, crimeonline.com investigative reporter. What's next for mommy, Jasmine Paez?
Well, she's going to be returning to court to face these allegations, and hopefully she'll receive the justice that's coming to her. It's kind of ironic to hear the why she did this. She told police that she was in a romantic relationship with someone who didn't like the fact that she had a child, and that had caused a breakup. And so she was planning to kill her child so that she could rekindle that romantic relationship with this person.
That's exactly what Karen Stark said earlier, the motivation of Susan Smith. Well, we wait as justice unfolds. If you know or think you know anything about this investigation, please call 305-471-8477. Goodbye, friend.
I love Nancy. Yeah, I didn't realize I had to approve via message. Some of those some messages, we have to approve them. And it's like, hello, that's not even a bad message. So I had to go back up. That's why I was like, oh, Waffle House. I used to have like a craving for Waffle House there for a while. Like all the time. Biscuits and gravy. Yep, Cindy knows. She's like, great biscuits and gravy. They have the best food. And it's probably because every time I've been there, I was under the influence of alcohol. And it was always, early in the morning. But we would go there just like we would make our friend take us. Like we would, we lived like a good 30 minutes from the Waffle House. And, whoever was the DD that night, we go out and we're like, Waffle House. Poor person, whoever was the DD. They'd have to drive us all there. They didn't have to, but they would. And it was always fun. And that's probably why it was so darn good. Because I don't think I would want to be there with like sober. That might be a little scary. the ones around here anyway. But no, I do love Waffle House. They have the best food. So is that where you guys are going? Oh, I'm not a grit kind of person, but I've heard that they're really good there. Everyone used to go there with, they'd always get the grits. Your brother loves the Waffle House, Sarah. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. It's not bad. So I was looking it up and like, here's the website and it's actually like legit on there. Like it's still up, temporarily closed. It says due to funding shortages and hosting issues. But yeah, you can, I mean, I hope they don't come and get me, but they do. They have like the little website. But y'all, who would do that? And be like, that's smart. That's going to work. And then you're like, oh, can you do this before the end of the week? Huh? It's very strange. So I was trying to look up when she's going to go back to court, but they don't have that yet. She did plead like not guilty, I believe. That was, I was trying to find the date, July 20th. And there's not anything scheduled for her yet. So I don't know if they're letting her get an attorney. I don't know if she's waived her right to a speedy. It doesn't look like that. So they usually have to do it within a certain amount of days. This is Florida. I wouldn't even want to spit my gum out in Florida. I don't know. Like I would just, they're scary in Florida. There's a little gnat in here. I don't know if he's a new one or if he's my friend that's been in here forever. But if he's the one that's been in here forever, he's like nuclear because that was weeks ago. There's just one little guy that flies around. But that's all I have for you guys today. Oh, Denny's. Denny's is good too. My dad used to like Denny's. I think Vincent's dad liked Denny's too. Someone who is desperate. Yeah, that's true. Do whatever the governor feels like that day. Yeah, like no, I'm like, that in Texas. They're busy over there. They're busy. They're busy people that they'll put you on death for nothing. Like, oh, you don't have them there anymore in Michigan? I think, and Denny's, I don't know if we have them in Ohio anymore, Denny's. But I know they have them in California. Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that they do. But I'm going to get off of here. Let's think. I was trying to think. I want to do that Crystal Rogers case. So we'll probably maybe start that one tomorrow and I'll get like a timeline and I'll get like a documentary or something up that way. It's so worth it. Like this happened 8 years ago. And when I saw this last night, I was like, whoa, like, oh my, I was just like, oh my gosh. Vincent was like, what's the matter? I'm like, they got a suspect. Like, there's just a couple cases that, that I haven't brought to the channel that I really like hold near and dear. Like Phoenix Cauldron. I don't know if you know about her. She's a girl that went missing. And her parents were very overbearing and she could have ran away or she could have been taken, but it's a really good one too. Oh, thank you. Be happy for the super sticker. Thank you. Yeah, no bond. Yeah, what is going on with the bond? The $15,000. Like, what? Huh? That sounds like a DUI bond. Like, you know what I mean? Something like that. Like doesn't sound like conspiring to commit murder. 15,000 in Florida? That's kind of crazy. But I'm going to jump off of here. Tomorrow I will be on. I owe you guys like a members only. I've said that I was going to do it today and I did it. That was bad of me. But we were running around the last 2 days. We never get out the house. But Vincent was like, I think I need new clothes. And I'm like, oh, music to my ears. Because, guys never want to buy new stuff. So we went shopping today. Sheriff Judd. I know who that is. Which one? What case is he on? I know who that is. What case was he on? Like I could picture him, but I can't think of him. But if you remember, put it in the chat. Thank you. I will be happy. I'm gonna have a good vacation. It's gonna be fun time. We're gonna take the dogs tomorrow. I'm gonna videotape it. So if you guys want to follow me over on TikTok, I'll be posting a lot of my stuff over there. I will post some stuff to YouTube, but I just don't want to get YouTube all crazy with. I don't want it to be like, what's going on over here? She's putting different content on there. So I think that it's going to be a good week. And it's always beautiful out there. And this year it's going to be a little bit cooler. So I think that's good. It's just getting the dogs dropped off is the biggest thing for me. Like, our dogs don't like other people. They're not used to people. That's what it is. They're not used to anybody. It'll be fun. I'm going to take a video of it. We're just going to literally drop them and run really fast. And be like, see ya. No, we're going to take them to the dog park tomorrow, and we're going to make them feel special and then get them tired and then drop them off. So, but I appreciate you guys all being here. And I'll be back on tomorrow. So, I know I'm going on vacation. I want to start another case, but this one's a really good one. So I think it'll be worth it. Also on the 13th, which is Wednesday, Kohlberger, they are going for a motions hearing in that case. So we may have some stuff to go over on that day too. So we'll see what happens. But I will see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good evening. Thank you guys so much for spending your evening with me. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.